It's a spring Friday in Dusseldorf, and the DEG Metro Stars are playing at home. One of the top teams in the German Professional Hockey League, the Metro Stars have come to rely on a versatile 27-year-old forward. His name is Evan Kaufman. Born and raised in Minneapolis, Kaufman was a star at the University of Minnesota.
Kaufman breakaway, boy, they're closing in a hurry. Kaufman backhand goal! Sure-handed!
After graduating in 2008, he was considering a career in accounting until he was offered the chance to fulfill his dream of playing professionally. Today, he's flourishing in Germany as a Jew, in the country that tried to wipe out his family and his people, a subject never far from his thoughts.
You can't help but think about what my family went through 70 years ago and the hardships that they suffered. More than that, you had to think about the strides that have been made since then and my own personal experiences.
With his wife Danielle, who's also Jewish, Kaufman has spent the last 4 years living in Dusseldorf. The Kaufmans are part of a small minority. 80 million people live in Germany, and only about 120,000 are Jews.
You don't walk around with a sign that says, "I'm Jewish." But when the German teammates find out and their girlfriends or wives, they have questions, they're curious about it.
There's definitely a little bit of a surprise, a lot of curiosity. I think most of my friends, my German friends, have never known a Jewish person in their lifetimes.
He was the first Jewish guy I met, but it was nice to meet one and find a little bit out about the culture, the religion.
Dusseldorf is only a 2-hour drive from Wittlich, the town where Kaufman's grandfather, Kurt, grew up. Among its most impressive sights, a century-old synagogue. In 1938, on Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass, when Jews and their property were targeted by angry mobs all over Germany, it was Kurt Kaufmann who rescued the Wittlich synagogue's most sacred object.
When he found this out, he ran to the synagogue and was able to take one of the Torah scrolls from the Torah Ark in the synagogue and bring it back to his home, where he buried it in the floorboards to prevent the Nazis from destroying it.
The scrolls were safe, but by now it was clear that time was running out for the Jews of Germany. The Kaufmans tried to hide in the nearby city of Cologne, but they were rounded up and deported. Evan's grandfather, Kurt, his sister Ilsa, and his mother Sibylla to the Jewish ghetto in Riga in Latvia. His great-grandfather Edward to the ghetto in Lodz in central Poland. Eventually, Sibylla would be deported again to southern Poland. She would become one of more than 1 million Jews murdered here at Auschwitz.
When I initially came here, even being in the locker room with my teammates, I'd be wondering, what was my teammates' grandfather doing at the time that my grandfather was suffering, and was he part of the actions?
That Evan Kaufman is alive today to play in Germany is a testament to his grandfather Kurt's gift for survival. Kurt endured 3.5 years as a prisoner and slave laborer in the concentration camps, in the most brutal, inhuman conditions imaginable. For most of Kurt's life, it was an experience that was literally unspeakable.
It was not a subject we talked about.
Ever.
Ever. I don't know, for one reason or another, my father did not want to do that.
But in 1989, 44 years after he was liberated from the camps by advancing Soviet troops, just a year before his death at the age of 68, Kurt Kaufman agreed to sit down with his family, to set down his memories for posterity.
Hundreds or thousands and thousands of Jews, he was standing in line, getting towards the gas oven and getting burnt later on, because I saw the smoke always there. And I hope the children, you Harley's children and the whole family should live a happy, long, long life to everybody. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
What do you think it was about your father that enabled him to survive?
Probably the same kind of characteristics that you might even see in Evan. Just a lot of determination and just extremely driven personalities.
As the grandson of a German Jew who was stripped of his citizenship, Evan Kaufman had the right to claim German citizenship for himself. In 2008, he reluctantly decided to become a dual U.S.-German citizen to be able to play professionally in Germany, where slots for foreigners are strictly limited. What do you remember thinking when that possibility first presented itself, as you said?
You know, it was always in my mind that a lot of my family was either chased out of Germany or ended up, being murdered in the Holocaust here. Is it right for me to come here? Is it something I should even be thinking about doing? To become a German citizen, knowing all of that was definitely, at the time, a very tough decision.
But it's one thing to play in relative obscurity in the German Hockey League. It's quite another to decide to wear the German flag on your sleeve. Stockholm, Sweden, May 6th, 2012. The German national team is playing Latvia, a close game. The Germans are energized by a forward on their fourth line, a newcomer to the national team, Evan Kaufman. When Kaufman took the ice for Germany for the first time this spring, he became one of only a handful of Jews to represent the country in international competition since the Holocaust. What thoughts were running through your head when you saw yourself wearing the German uniform?
Kind of a whirlwind of emotions. I was obviously thinking about my grandfather and his family, and in particular some of the experiences that he went through just to survive and give me an opportunity to be where I am today.
As far as Germany, at first it was a little eerie for me. It brought back some of the memories of what my father went through. My father would have endorsed it, yeah. And actually would have been very proud that he's doing it in my father's country.
Kaufman's choice to live in and represent a nation that did all it could to prevent his ever being born has been met in some quarters with criticism.
I think it's mostly just how can you live in a country that, killed your ancestors. But, all I'd like to say to them is come take a trip to Germany. Come see what it's like today. You won't feel any ounce of what happened 70 years ago.
What does your story say about the bigger picture of forgiving, of letting go?
I still kind of get amazed when I think about everything and how we've come full circle back to where we are today. You can't let things in the past and things that you can't control get in the way of moving forward, and more than anything, I feel a tremendous amount of pride and gratefulness for my grandfather and what he went through, and giving me the opportunity to be where I'm standing today.